Good morning!
Good morning!
Oh, you can do it better than that. Come on, one more time. Good morning!
Good morning!
All right. Today, how do you keep yourself up when the rest of the world wants to pull you down? What you need to do is get control of how you talk to yourself. You need to have a way all the time of bringing yourself up, because frankly, most of the world is trying to pull you down. When you get this, and in this session today, thank all of you who came here on Friday. I know on Thursday nights there are some adult beverages that are consumed. Thank you for coming. You're going to like this session, because this is about how to keep yourself up. Once you get this, this is a powerful input to your self-confidence. You will stop allowing other people to get you down, and you'll get more. You'll accomplish more. Let's start with a quiz.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Do you have a video?
I'm writing a book,
Oh, cool.
and the book's going to be called, It's Not About Me, It's About Them. How to Fire Up the Latent Productivity in Your Sales Force. It's for sales managers. And what I've discovered is it's much better for me to capture video and then potentially give it to someone who can pull little clips out that I can put on YouTube. So it's better just to capture it when I'm doing it. Thank you. I tried to write, I wrote about 16 chapters this summer. Yeah, but
I got bogged down.
my theoretical drive is too high. Also, if you miss a class, I post these in an unlisted site on YouTube. And if you miss a class and you want to get it, just let me know and I'll send you a link. Ooh, that's a bad decision. That'd be chapter 6. Clarity. Anyone need more time? Pass them up. 6 years ago today, my dad died. He was a great guy. His name was Bill Derry. He was my greatest teacher. I was so lucky to have a great dad. I just got lucky. And my dad was a great fisherman, so I'm wearing a fly fishing lure. It wasn't his, but. And my dad's favorite song, he was Mr. Enthusiasm. His favorite song was Smile. It goes like this. Smile and the world smiles with you, sing a song. Don't be weary, just be cheery all day long. Whenever your trials, your troubles, and your cares seem to be more than you can really bear, just smile, and the world smiles with you, sing a song. That was my dad's favorite song. So, thank you, Pop. And if he were here, he'd love what I'm doing. I got him into junior achievement late in his life after he retired, and he loved it. So, okay. Today, okay, let's now go over the quiz. Number one, which of the statements or questions below, mentioned by Norman Hall, the last Fuller Brush man, contained a benefit that caused the woman making the coffee to agree to meet with him? So why are benefits important? Ms. Sharp.
Why are benefits important?
Yeah.
Because if you make an empty statement, then you're not persuading anyone to do anything.
If you give an empty statement, can you expect them to be interested? So let's examine how the last Fuller Brush man, what he said, and to figure out which of these are benefits that caused her to respond positively. She said, he said to her, "Are you the new office down the way?" Is there a benefit statement in that, Ms. Wilkins? No. Why would you say that? Just because you're not thinking about it, you're just talking. How about, "I've been calling on these two attorneys here for many, many years, and I was going to introduce myself." Ms. Smith, is there a benefit in that? Sure. Like, I help these attorneys because I help them. Maybe, I could help you. But the question would be, what do you do for them that causes them to buy from you? Now that might be interesting. Did he say that?
No.
I'm sure you've heard of Fuller Brush. Do a lot of people say this?
No.
Yes, all the time. They say, "I work for DuPont. Well, we're the oldest chemical company in the world. We've been in business since 1797. So, how's that impact me? "I work for Boeing. We have more planes in the sky than any other company." You care about that, Miss Jones?
Not at all.
Not a bit. So you have to think. One of the things that I'm drilling into you over and over and over is when you engage with others and you want to persuade them, start with benefits. How do I start every class? Good morning. Okay. And then what comes after that?
Quiz.
Do you notice?
What we're going to learn today.
Every time I talk about some benefit to you, don't I? And every time, if I do it well, you say, "Ooh, man, this is going to be good. I'm interested in this," right? I do that every time. Is that by accident? No. That's what I've learned to do. If I'm going to get your attention, which is very hard, to get your attention and keep it, because you're good at doing this, looking intently and thinking about something over here, or I got to be out of here, or I'm hungry, or there are different things that your brain's going on. How do you keep somebody's attention? How do you do it? Talking about benefits to them. Now, are they empty benefits? If they are, you can't keep their attention. But if you can talk about a benefit that causes them to go, ooh, like what's this? Then you got a shot. So how should you start every presentation in which you hope to persuade someone? Ms. Hazel? The benefit to them. You do, you have their attention. Mr. Huff.
Okay. I put number B for the answer to this one.
Oh, wait, what are you talking about? Oh, I've been calling on these two attorneys?
Yes. But, I mean, it says later on in the chapter that you can use these two names as credibility. Isn't that what he's trying to do right there? I've been calling on these two gentlemen.
He's trying to do it. So he says, remember, what Pink did in this chapter is really good. He captured what they were doing, right? And she's over there pouring herself a cup of coffee, not even looking at him. He's trying to get his attention. Remember, he's winking at Daniel Pink, like, I'm going to try to get her attention on this. And he said, I've been calling these two attorneys here for many, many years, and I was going to introduce myself. What did she say? What did she do?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. Don't you want her to say, what? He didn't get her attention? Big deal. What's that to me? What could he have said there when their back was turned to have gotten a benefit statement? Here's what you do. You first have to think about the person. Who is she? What does she do? You have to think about this first. What needs does she have? And then come up with a benefit that can fulfill that need. She works for a law firm, right? Is she an attorney? No, not an attorney, so she helps attorneys. So if you begin thinking about benefits, these thoughts rifle through your brain. Click, click, click. You connect the dots and you say, I sell brushes. What do my attorneys use over here? Why do they like my brushes? What do they buy? Okay, they buy this. What do they do with the brush? They clean coffee cups with brushes. She's got a coffee cup. I think to myself, aha, I wonder if there's a coffee stain at the bottom of that coffee cup. If you're thinking about benefits, these rifle right through, and you might say, I help attorneys get rid of nasty stains. What? If she has a need. If you don't hit it, you don't get her attention. So what I'm doing to help all of you in almost every session is learn how to ask better questions. Because that contains the crux of how you get someone's attention. To ask a question that probes a need. So when he's asking these questions, he's lost his edge. He's the last full brush man, he's hanging on. He says, I don't press myself on people. Is that a benefit? Who put yes?
I accidentally put it
Oh, no, that's all right, that's all right. So defend, is that a benefit?
in. When you're dealing with salesmen, yes.
Is it benefit making you feel less awkward?
Is that really?
See, now, you said, Mr. Orozco, that's a good comment. Because this is using fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And yes, good salespeople can rely on fear, uncertainty, and doubt. So if you said, I don't push myself on other people, what you're trying to tell her is, I'm not a pushy salesman. What kind of reaction did he get from her on that? Read it.
Stop on your way out.
Okay. Now, is she motivated? Not really. I mean, you could say it's a benefit, but it's really small. What I'm trying to help you understand is how to come up with a benefit statement. You think about, what does she do? What's she doing to help them? And what's her job? What problems might she have? All in 1 nanosecond. Now, when you get good at this in sales, and you're talking to people in one industry, and you begin to learn what the problems are, you have a significant advantage because you could walk into someone fresh and ask a provocative question. How concerned are you about losing customers based upon the new iPhone 6 coming out, knowing that these guys just lost their contract? Oh, what are you talking about? Boom, I got their attention. It's something that's important to them. On this one, you judge the answer by how she reacted. Was it a benefit to her? The answer is no. I'm splitting hairs on this one, but what I want you to learn is that benefits have to be real to people. They have to get there emotionally to cause them to say, what are you talking about? To distract them. All good salespeople have to, in the first sentence, they need to get the attention of someone. How many of you have had Chris Shelf? Class, okay. We just saw Chris. We were just past each other. I left my iPhone in my car. I had to go out this morning and get it. So he's coming in, and we talked about subject, need, idea, benefit. That he is absolutely in love with. And he said to me, this approach is the ideal elevator speech. An elevator speech is something that you have to encapsulate what you do in a way that helps someone else. And you have to do it in the period of time in which you go from the 14th floor to the ground floor. You have to get their attention enough so they go, ooh, what's that? Swap a business card. I got a prospect. So he said that starting with benefits and then conveying needs and the idea, the way we do subject, need, idea, benefit, he said it's the ideal elevator speech, and I teach it to all my students. Works. You start with the benefits to others. So how effective was Norman Hall, the last Fuller Brush man, in conveying benefits? Now, did he get an appointment?
Yes.
Why? What happened eventually?
Well, it was right after he said all three of those statements put together. It said that he reiterates that he wasn't a pushy salesman. He has been communicating with these two men for the last 4 decades, and some of these products might be useful. And then she says, okay, you can stop by my office on your way out.
Okay. She didn't say, would you please stop by the office? That's the response you want.
But it's a foot in the door. And anytime...
No. Now be careful now. Be careful now. Don't talk your way out of this one. Okay? What I'm talking about here is how to get someone excited about you. Not just, well, yeah, come on.
Didn't he get the appointment because of the credibility of the other 2 lawyers?
We don't know, but eventually she relented. And it may be that she had a chance to think about, yes, he's helped other attorneys, well, then maybe there's something in there for us, maybe I ought to look at it. If he had thought through, if he had this nugget in his brain, he would have said to Daniel Pink, watch what happens when I ask this. Ms. Smith, I solve difficult problems for the people who serve attorneys. You do? What problems do you solve? I'm in. I got her attention now. At least she's listening 100%. She's not trying to, she's pouring her coffee, trying to, let this guy just shut up. I want to get my coffee. Oh, damn it. You know, yeah, okay. Until you give them a benefit. Then it changes. That's all you have to do. Now, what should you do as a consequence of this? You have to get into the habit of talking about benefits to others when you want to persuade them. It's just a habit. You think about who they are, what they do, what kind of problems they have, what could I do to help them solve the problem? And when you get that thought, it rifles right through your brain and then comes out of your mouth. The benefit comes out. I do it every day. I'm just saying to you, this is how you do it. You want to be persuasive in your life. Thank you, Jim Singleton. Which of the ideas listed below is correct for how to improve the quality of your self-talk? So Miss Sweeney, what's this idea here of self-talk? Tell us about this subject.
Self-talk is asking yourself, can I do this? Then you kind of confirm it by answering this and giving explanations like, yes, I've prepared for this, yes, I can do this, I've done it before. You're just kind of prepping yourself up.
Now, you're talking about the questioning self-talk. That's one of the elements of self-talk. Excellent. What's the whole idea behind this? Like, why are we discussing this?
Because it'll benefit yourself.
Yeah, but why? What's the idea behind self-talk? Hold on. What's the idea? In you, what's the idea?
To believe in yourself.
Yes, it is
Intrinsic motivation.
intrinsic
Motivation.
motivation. Yeah. It's the fact that we all talk to ourselves. We all do it. What is the quality of that self-talk? And number two, can I change it? Can I change the way I talk to myself? And if I can, what is the impact to myself and others? Most students have never examined this. Why? Because you just talk to yourselves. Well, what do you mean? When you do something badly, what happens inside you? You say, dumb, idiot. Or do you say, oh, I can do that better? How do you talk to yourself? The quality of the rest of your life is going to be determined by how well you control that self-talk. If it's negative, Henry Ford gave us the magic behind it. If you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. That's this whole subject of Daniel Pink in this chapter. How do you keep yourself up? Declarative, so A, which of the ideas listed below is correct for how to improve the quality of your self-talk? Declarative self-talk elicits the reasons for doing something. Is that true, Mr. Williams?
No, because declarative is just you saying something. It's not you're asking yourself, you're just saying it like, I can do this.
Exactly. Bob the Builder champions the idea of declarative self-talk. Mr. Settles. Define for us declarative self-talk.
Telling yourself you're the best. Like she said, getting yourself pumped up.
Yep. Now, I'm going to disagree with Daniel Pink. And on this issue of declarative self-talk, because he said his research indicates that interrogative or questioning self-talk is better in improving your self-talk. And when I learned about self-talk when I was about, I didn't get it until I was 37. So I had lots of experience with cutting myself down and trying to get myself back up. Until I got it. Brian Tracy taught me this, and he got it from Napoleon Hill. In the book that's on your reading list, Think and Grow Rich, is a segment for how to control your self-talk. And he got this from Andrew Carnegie and others that he interviewed as one of the core principles for how to keep yourself up. And it's worked for me, and I'm going to explain to you, I'm going to expand Daniel Pink's idea and talk to you about declarative self-talk. If you evaluate the quality of your self-talk and you find yourself being negative on yourself, oh, you can't do that. You could never do that. You're horrible at that. And then it comes out of your mouth. I don't do things like that. We talk about positivity, it's just a habit. You've just, on your subconscious brain, you've planted. It's not a, I'm not talking down to you, but how you have come to this age, if you've implanted negative things on your subconscious brain, when you revisit it, up comes negative. The question is can you change it? And the answer is yes. And this declarative self-talk can do this. So let's talk about this for a couple minutes. When I was in my 30s and I discovered Brian Tracy's notion of the psychology of achievement, and I realized that I had negative self-talk, he said, if you'll say 2 things to yourself 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, with enthusiasm, with emotion, you can overwrite what's sitting there on your subconscious brain. So what do you mean? How does that work? Here's how it works. The subconscious brain is simply the repository. It takes in everything. It doesn't question, takes in everything. It's the conscious brain that blocks, that says, this is right, this is wrong. So when the subconscious brain, it contains, the conscious brain looks and says, how did I do? The subconscious brain says, horrible, bad, you're horrible. So every time you go there, the conscious brain goes to that part of the subconscious brain, picks that out, and that's why you're negative. So you have to overwrite that negative self-talk. Here's how Brian Tracy suggested I do it, and I did it. 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night, all by myself. I would say, I like myself, and I'm the best. I like myself, and I'm the best. I like myself, and I'm the best. I did it with emotion. My wife, I hear my wife cackling in the bedroom because I was on the bathroom floor and I'd done my exercises and I was doing my affirmations. I like myself, and I'm the best. Takes 21 days with these affirmations. At the end of 21 days, you override it on your subconscious brain, and the negative self-talk leaves forever. Every now and then, it happened to me this morning. I left my phone in my car. I never do that. Did I say, oh, you dummy? That never ends up. It never comes in. But as I'm going out, I'm thinking to myself, I hate to waste time. And so what booted up was, let's make something positive out of this wasted time. So the first student came up. I always greet students. I say, good morning, how are you? And so up comes Chris Shell. And Chris Shell tells me about how he's using subject, need, idea, benefit for elevator pitches and how it's really working. I get a brand new idea. I would have not gotten that idea had I not gone out to my car. So I was looking for the positive. Why did I do that? At the root is, I like myself and I'm the best. I will not allow negative self-talk to come in. I won't let it back. This works, and it's very powerful.
Have you seen Jessica's daily affirmation? The little girl, and she
That's what I was
stands in
thinking
front of her
about.
mirror. And she
Yeah.
says, everything's great, and everything's good. I like my mom, I like my dog, I like my hair. And
Exactly.
she does it every day
Right.
in front of the mirror.
Now let's talk about this.
She's really cute.
Now we can differentiate between that and what I'm trying to do to keep my self-talk positive. What Pink talks about in this chapter is, if the declarative self-talk gets in the way of your natural motivation, then it can be destructive. So, have you ever seen the old movie called Pollyanna? Yeah? It was an old movie starring Haley Mills. And now the word Pollyanna-ish is in the dictionary. It's so powerful because she was positive on everything. It's the kind of person that's so positive, you want to go, oh God, stop it. Just like the little girls, like, oh, you can't be positive on everything. Yes, I can. You can be a bit naive. Oh yeah, it's all wonderful, when you're in an accident. It's not saying that you talk your way out of negative things. It is how I view. It's keeping me positive, because the whole world is saying, no, you're not good enough, you're not strong enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not all this. You know, you look at all the ads and everyone's perfect, and you're saying, I'm not good enough. Stop it. This chapter's about keeping you, helping you understand how to keep yourself up. Because if you're not up, you can't persuade another person. Mr. Beal.
I agree with the positive self-talk, but is it possible to use negative talk as motivation? Because I've read articles on, especially when you talk about this comes to athletes, like for example, Tiger Woods played golf, and I've seen many quotes of him saying when he hits a bad shot or gets upset, it motivates him to do better at what he does.
Okay. What's the difference between staying positive and having constructive self-talk? Once we begin presentations, there are two views, there are two perceptions that we always discuss after every presentation, and this is what you should do after every interaction. You ask two questions. What went well? What can be improved? Not what went wrong. Why? This paragraph, why?
You can ask yourself what's wrong. You're giving yourself a negative impression. You're not focusing on the positive aspect of it.
What's the brain remember?
Negative.
What you did wrong. So the next time you're there, if you're, talk about, I've got a friend who helps athletes get rid of their negative self-talk. And I'll give you one example. I tried to help a split receiver for the Tops. He's gone now. He never started. He had 6'1", 210 pounds, did a 4.5 40 and everything. But as I talked to him, here's what I discovered. Senior year. End of the game. Down by a touchdown. He does a post. They throw the ball. He's in the end zone. Here comes the ball. It's in his hands. He drops it. On his brain, he writes, I can't catch it. I can't catch it. I discovered this talking to him. So he says, yeah, I said, what happens? What's in your brain when the ball's coming? Okay, what are you thinking right now? I'm going to drop it. I'm going to drop it. Whoa, stop. So, start this. You've got to overwrite that. And the overwrite is, it's mine. It's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine, it's mine. You got to do it with emotion. Because you have to drag, you have to overwrite that negative view. You didn't do it. Never started. But that's the process. Once you realize that the self-talk is negative, then you can overwrite it. If you want the process, it's in the book. How to think and grow rich. We get to, so declarative self-talk elicits the reasons for doing something. We said, no, that's not correct. Bob the Builder champions the idea of declarative self-talk. Ms. Vila? What kind of self-talk does he champion, Bob the Builder? Oh. I realized in the last class there were no non-words. We never got it. That's improvement.
Dairy dollars for everyone?
I like that idea. Bob the Builder champions the idea of declarative self-talk. So what he doesn't do that. What kind of self-talk does he champion?
Positive self-talk and reassurance.
What's it called?
Interrogative.
Interrogative, the questioning. Now, am I saying that declarative is better than questioning? No, I'm saying they're both effective. And you can use both of them. But Pink, I don't think Pink understands this. I think he did some research, he looked at a narrow band of research. I don't think he's ever done it. Once you do it, look out. I affirmed, back when I was broke, my wife and I were married, was broke. And we lived in a little tiny farmhouse in Albertson, and it was 1,300 square feet. It was 150 years old. It was old, and we redid it. And so I affirmed. I earn $100,000 a year when I loan it. I earn. The idea is you take the future and you bring it into the present as if it exists right now. So you can live it. This is what I do. When you do that, then it adjusts the actions you take because you want to fulfill this in your brain. But you have to put that in your brain first. I said, Nancy and I live in the home of our dreams. And we used to go out and walk, and I'd be saying that. She'd be cackling, you know, and saying, oh yeah, we do. Look at this place we live in. I said, no worries, no worries. That was 1996. 2000, I built it. 90 yards away. It's powerful. When you deposit this on your brain as if it exists, then you want it. One more thing. Any of you tried to lose weight? Okay? Most of us tried to lose weight. What's the problem? We get the weight down, and then our self-concept is not where I am. If I weighed, this morning I weighed 197.8. I weigh every morning. And every Friday I record it. Why? You gotta decide how much you're gonna weigh, or it gets away from you. So, I graduated from high school at 190, and I'm up 7.8 pounds. So my self-concept is 190. It's not 197. So this is a constant motivation for me to not do some things that I know, like eat ice cream, which I like, and that adds to your belly. So let's say you weigh 200 pounds, and you want to weigh 180. Your self-image is you're 200. You go down to 180. Where's your self-image? 200. You haven't changed it. Why then, isn't it easy to gain the weight back? Because your self-image is still at 200. You have to override it. So if you want to lose weight and keep it off, you have to say, I weigh 180 pounds and I feel great. Take the future, accelerate it into the present. I weigh 180 pounds and I feel great 10 times in the morning, 10 times at night. Now when you start this, your conscious brain says, no you don't, you're a fatty, you weigh 200. I'm overriding it. I weigh 180 pounds and I feel great. I weigh 180 pounds and I feel great. And guess what? Once, 21 days, once you go out, you see yourself at 180, not at 200, and you begin to adjust your actions to meet your expectations. Can you change what you think about? You bet. It's one of the most powerful things you can ever learn. That's the pink check. We're not done, but we're having fun. All right, how are we doing on time? Negative self-talk is generally more effective than positive self-talk. Mr. Johnson, true? No, absolutely false. Questioning self-talk risks bypassing one's motivations. Is it questioning? What is it? What's the kind of self-talk that risks bypassing your motivations? Ms. Lee? Declarative. Because you're saying, this is how I feel, this is how I feel, this is what I'm going to do. So you have to be careful. If you try to overwrite something that you're motivated to do, then that's why you're going to get a disingenuous response. Mr. Huff.
So do you agree with this? Do you agree that declarative talk bypasses motivation?
Yes.
Declarative is different from affirmations. I see what you're seeing it from, but
You have to be careful. If you say, if your motivation is to help others, and your utilitarian and your return on investment is low, and you say to yourself, I am going to develop a higher appreciation for the value of making money. Because right now I don't care anything about it. But I now recognize that it's going to be important for me to have enough money for my family. So I've got to work on that. So a declarative, if that's in alignment with where I want to go, and I create the affirmation, I make $100,000. I earn $100,000 every year. I earn $100,000. Your self-talk goes, oh no you don't, you're broke. So I'm going to overwrite it over and over and over. When I do that, I'm going to affect my motivation. But if I overwrite, if I say, I love helping others. Hold on a second. If I go against the motivation, let's say I have a motivation, it's kind of hard to come up with one. Give me an example of how a declarative self-talk might interfere with a motivation you have. I see it in principle, it's just harder for me to encapsulate it, you know?
I guess one could be when you're talking about a game, you can say like, I'm going to win this game, I'm going to win this game, I'm going to win this game. Keep that with that declarative self-talk, that's going to overpass everything you need to be thinking about going into the game, whether it's football, ping pong.
I agree. I agree. So the idea is be careful about what your affirmation is. The coach that says, we're going to win, we're going to win, we're going to win. John Wooden never did that. What did John Wooden affirm to all his players? Do your best. Do your best. Do your best. Not win. You can't control winning, but you can control doing your best.
I think that's where Pink kind of contradicted himself as well, because he talks about how affirmative is less effective than interrogative self-talk, but when he talked about interrogative self-talk, he had you list 5 things of the reasons why you can do it. And those 5 things are your affirmations.
They work together, guys. I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent, but we can use them together. I've had so much positive experience with affirmations and self-talk in my life that one of the reasons that I do this with you guys, I've been in sales all my life. I could be selling something now. Well, I am. I'm selling you guys this powerful idea that you can change your thinking and you can become the person that you wish to be. Still America. Nobody holds us back. Mr. Orozco.
See.
Good idea, sir.
Thank you.
Yep. The last one is number 2. Boy, this question's taken us all morning, hasn't it? People are more likely to act when their choices come from intrinsic pressures than extrinsic ones. True. You're more likely to act when it comes from the inside than someone telling you to do it on the outside. It's the core principle of motivation. What is not one of the components, read this carefully, the components of buoyancy? Interrogative self-talk, yes. How about positivity? How about explanatory style? Ms. Smith, tell us about explanatory style. Everybody's clicking?
Explanatory style versus...
All by itself. Just what's the idea in buoyancy with the explanatory style?
You want to... Is this the positivity versus the negativity?
This is something else. Who had their hand up? It's Tal.
Explanatory style is after you've made a sale, after something has happened to you, how do you rationalize what's happened to you? Do you take it personally? Do you see it as permanent? And do you see it as pervasive?
Good. Answer is, oh. So explanatory style is one. Is persistence a component of buoyancy? No. Well, that's a hard one. It's connected, because if you're persistent with your affirmations, it can enable you to create an attitude of buoyancy. Is it a component? No, the components are interrogative self-talk, positivity, and explanatory style. 4. Research on the intensity of positivity over negativity has uncovered the ideal range of positive to negative emotions that persuades effectively, which is, what's the range? Mr. Snyder.
3 to 11.
Gotta have this ready to go.
3 to 11.
3 to 1 to 11 to 1. So what's this mean?
You can have too much positivity will bring you down. It'll give you a sense of arrogance that you know everything and you won't be able to learn anything. Too little. So if you're underneath the 3 mark, too little will always make you be negative, and you won't necessarily
You got it, man.
feel positive about it.
That's it. Way to go. Okay. So we've got this notion of the range between negativity, or not enough positivity, and Pollyanna, which is everything is good, it's wonderful, life is wonderful. Oh no, you should challenge yourself to do well. You can point out the negative, but you don't want it to rule how you view the world. That's another, oh, we have 5 minutes to go. Oh, we need to talk about this. Last question. People who explain bad things that happen to them as permanent, pervasive, or personal reveals a low level of perseverance. So, Miss Allen, what's this all about?
Can you just read the question again?
People who explain bad things that happen to them as permanent, pervasive, or personal reveals a low level of perseverance.
If they have it in their mind that this is a permanent and I can't get out of it, then what's the use of being positive?
Exactly. It helps you understand in your explanatory style. If you listen to your style, and if you explaining events, if they are permanent, pervasive, or personal, then it's an indication of negativity. So which of the statements below predicts that a person won't quit after suffering a defeat? My boss is always mean. Ms. Peregrine? No? My boss is always mean. So once you drill that in, how many of you have bosses that are always mean? You can raise your hand. Oh, none? Congratulations. Most mean bosses are high Ds. And they're not doing it to you, just being themselves. Always mean is just your reflection. It's how you're responding to them. If you allow them to upset you, who's at fault? There's no. You. Because your boss is just being himself. You've got to figure out how to manage your boss. You're going to do that the rest of your life. I'm incompetent at my job. Mr. Toon? Is that one? No. How about all bosses are jerks? Pervasive. How about it's going to undermine everything I do? Negative. Boy, this has been a tough day. That's the one. Because you're not saying it's going to be permanent. So what Pink is talking about in this chapter is how can I, number one, I'm now at, for some of you, I'm at conscious incompetence. That's step 2 in learning. First step is unconscious incompetence, where you don't know you don't know. Now you're at the step of conscious incompetence, like, ooh, I never knew that my self-talk, and now you're thinking about all the things in this session. You grow between conscious incompetence to conscious competence. So when you leave today, leave with the idea that you can change what you think about. As Henry Ford said, if you think you can, or you think you can't, you're right. Have a great weekend. And on Saturday, we'll all be saying, O-H! I-O! Have a great time.
I need to get one of those.
Have you done your call home? I finished it. Oh, you did? I did it during work this morning. I'm really proud of myself. Mine is literally websites I'm turning in. Oh, yeah. I don't even have comic. What did you do? I did have a social media. What role does social media play in crisis management? Really?
You got it. You can do it.
As soon as you realize that, you can tell yourself, figure out, where you want to go and how you need to get there.
A lot of things under your control. Cool. Let me turn off the camera. Have a good weekend. Yeah, you too.
I feel. That's what it is. No one goes.